Hey MTV, welcome to my crib. You guys come on in, but make sure to wipe your feet on the mat. We don't want any unwanted parasites in my place. You all know what I'm saying? You know what I love? I really love kids. I want to know, 2 or 3,000. That's why if you come on over into this room, you can see this nice, big family theater. This is the kitchen, but I don't really use it all that much. I kind of get all my nutrition from the house. This house really just takes care of me, and I just really love it here, you know? This is where I produce my thousands of eggs each day. Doesn't it look cozy? This place is a really great area to have children. It's warm, it's safe, and there's plenty to eat. This is the pool. I'm not a big fan of swimming, but this room makes for a good aesthetic. I really like coming in here and just looking at all the cool things this house has. I want to say, though, that my life hasn't always been this easy. When I was a young lad, I lived in dirt. Yes! I, too, am ashamed of having to admit my tragic, dirty past. But through immense difficulty, I was able to work my way up to this glorious mansion of a human being, and I have never looked back. I don't know much about before I had all the success, but what I do remember was pretty bad. My parent just left me here in this dirt to fend for myself and to find my own home. It was difficult, but I am a stronger parasite because of it. This was a horrible place I once had to lay my small wormy head at. Can you understand the horror? Everywhere I turned, there was nothing but dirt! I had to struggle to find nutrition because this shack certainly did not feed me like my human does. I never want to go back.
This is the Parasite Emergency Agency with an emergency alert for all men and women in the area. We have received information that a parasitic worm transferred by soil may be in the area close to you. Prepare yourself for possible bodily invasions if you are exposed to contaminated areas. Please listen to the following information as it can protect you and your family.
The most common infections worldwide are soil-transmitted helminths, and they affect the poorest and most deprived countries and communities. But do not be fooled into believing you are safe, because when worms are involved, no one's safe. But what is a soil helminth? A soil helminth is an intestinal worm that infects the intestines of humans and other animals that are transmitted through contaminated soil. Contaminated soil is a fancy word for soil that has feces in it, which has eggs inside the feces. It is important to discuss these parasites because they can be very dangerous to young and old people. In children, they can cause a lack of nutrition, physical strength, and even disrupt cognitive function. There are 3 very common soil-transmitted helminths, and they are hookworm, whipworm, and roundworm. Eggs can sometimes come into contact with vegetables and become attached. This is a problem for humans like you and me if they are not properly washed or cooked before we ingest them. Also, sometimes we can drink the eggs if they are in a water source. If children are playing outside in soil that happens to be contaminated and they put their hands inside their mouths, there's a great risk for infection. Finally, some of these worms, like hookworms, lay their eggs in the soil, and when the larvae hatch, they can penetrate the skin, so remember to always wear shoes. Now, how can you control these parasites? There are 3 very good ways of dealing with this. One is treatment is important. There are certain deworming medicines that must be used on the infected population. Another is having better sanitation habits or systems so that the likelihood of coming into contact with contaminated soil is lower. And finally, people need to be educated about these parasites. Knowing how you can get this is a great way to prevent more infections. Tell your children that when playing outside, especially in the dirt, they should never touch their faces and to always wash their hands when finished. And remember, do not walk outside barefoot.
This message has been brought to you by the Parasite Emergency Agency. We hope you, your children, your friends, and your stomachs are worm-free. Have a wonderful night.